Welcome to the Brain Gym. For this session, I want to talk about posture. Posture is important. It's important to your brain because your brain requires as much sensory information from its sensory body. In other words, your body has neurons all over it, and these neurons gather information and they send it to your brain. And from this information, your brain constructs its version of reality, its version of what is happening out there. And the most intimate, the closest form of information is the body's position. So if you've been working through the Brain Gym, you will have seen at the gratitude exercises where I tell you to put your face into a certain position, into a posture. Your brain doesn't really know what's happening outside other than what your sensory body is telling it. So if I smile, my brain assumes that something is happening that is making me happy. And so it sends out the appropriate hormones. So just by putting your face into a smiling posture, you can make yourself happy. You can trigger those hormones that make you feel happy. This idea runs throughout your entire body. If you slouch, if you stand in an aggressive way, your brain is reading this information and sending out the appropriate hormones. So if you are habitually standing with your hands on your hips, your feet jutting out, or you're man-spreading, or whatever it is, you are sending information to your brain, not just to the world outside, but to your brain. And your brain is responding by sending hormones into your body that seem to it to be appropriate. So mindfulness, awareness of posture, is a very important part of brain training, and it is something that you can do anywhere at any place. But for this morning, I want to discuss the posture that you assume when you are doing brain training. Now, throughout the foundation skills levels, I've mentioned you sitting on the chair, on the edge of the chair, upright but not stiff, with your feet firmly on the ground. This is a posture that makes you automatically alert. Because you're slightly off balance, you are forced to put your feet flat on the ground and your back automatically goes upright. I've also said that you should tilt your head forward slightly. One tends to do this, or one tends to do that. The idea is, from a brain training point of view, is to get your spine to be as straight as possible. Now remember, your spine is your nervous system highway, your sensory highway. All the information comes to your spine and then it's fed up your spine into your brain. So the idea is to become aware of the posture of your spine and to place it in such a position that this information reaches your brain as efficiently as possible. So this is why we sit with an upright back, but not stiff, and our head is tilted slightly forward so that the back of our skull is not kinked in any way. These are subtle differences, but as you progress into your mind field, you will understand why it becomes quite important. It's also important when you're walking through the world, standing in the world. It tells your brain something about what is happening to you. If you're standing in an upright but not stiff position with your head resting comfortably, it is relaxed and confident. A relaxed and confident position tells your brain which hormones to send. So if you stand in a relaxed and confident way, the hormone cocktail that your hypothalamus will send into your bloodstream will mirror that. And you will feel relaxed and confident. It is a virtuous feedback circle. So, you can choose to sit on the chair and continue to do so. But as you progress, we will start working with areas that are not apparent to a brain that is not aware of itself or its body. You will start working with your energy body. It really does exist. This is not some sort of hocus pocus fairiness. When you become hyper aware of your body, you realize that you are an energy producer. You're an electrobiochemical battery that is fueling your life. And you can start feeling that energy. So when you're sitting on a chair, you start becoming aware that your feet are terribly far away. And there is an impetus to become as compact as possible when you're doing your deep mind training. And so it's useful to start practicing sitting cross-legged. You don't have to sit in the lotus position, that's not necessary. If it comes naturally to you, by all means, you can sit in the half lotus or simply in a cross-legged position, or if you find that very difficult, you can use a stool and just fold your legs underneath you. But it is something that you ought to start practicing if you have an intention of going deeper into the mind field. It will make your practice so much more efficient and effective. So, posture is important. It falls under the mindfulness series of exercises, awareness of self, where your body is in space. This is controlled by a part of the brain that's called the cerebellum. It's also called the little brain. It's the part of the brain that is highly developed in gymnasts and ballerinas and trapeze artists. And it is the part of the brain that, because we sit so much, doesn't get very much exercise. So by becoming aware of your posture in everything you do all the time, becoming aware of where your body is in space at any time, and trying to make it as efficient, as elegant, as beautiful as possible, gives your cerebellum a little workout. So posture not only tells your brain how you're feeling and sends the appropriate hormones, and you can control which hormones your brain is sending into your body by being aware of your posture. Your posture and being aware of how your body is positioned in space also gives a part of your brain, the cerebellum, a little workout. And it's a part of your brain that is highly neglected in our very sedentary, mainly seated in front of a screen lifestyle. So work on your posture, and you're working on your brain. And not just that, you're also working on your emotional well-being.